We want to pray with Pastor Chris.
Almighty Father, we give you praise and thanks. You give us a break. You've nourished us. We've come back. We pray that your spirit will continually abide with us. Commit the facilitators into your care. We pray that as they impart to us, you give us receptive memories and hearts to receive and to go and impart, so your work will flourish to your glory. Abide with us today, we pray in Christ Jesus' name. Amen.
And so we have our treasurers with us this morning from the various conferences. But let me take this opportunity to introduce to you our guests who have been with us since Monday. We have our executive secretary from Southern Ghana Union Conference, Pastor Dr. Chris Ananu. Pastor, kindly rise for them to see you. And then we are fortunate to also have the executive secretary of West Central Africa Division, Pastor Dr. Selom Kwesi. Pastor. And then from the General Conference, you have Pastor Jerry Robert Chase, who is also a GIS specialist. Pastor, kindly rise for them to say. Then let me come to Sister Sherry before the one who is going to do the presentation. And this, Mrs. Sherry Ingram Hadges, the Director of Adventist Management Systems, General Conference of SDA. Then the main facilitator for this session from the South American Division, and now an employee of the General Conference, Elder Tiago dos Santos Moises. Elder, please. Welcome.
Thank you, Buffer. Good morning again. And a special welcome for all the treasurers that are here. Can I see the hands of the ones that are from the Treasury Department? Oh, very welcome for you. I hope you can take something from the presentation today. And I want to start just with a brief review for the ones that were here yesterday, but also for the treasurers, to a brief introduction about ACMS. And the first thing that we used to like to say is that we are here to try to simplify church manage, right? Simplifying church manage to empower the spread of the gospel. And the second thing on this that we want to highlight is that you probably heard about ACMS, and I'm speakly talking about our treasures here. And maybe the M sometimes is confused to membership, right? Because ACMS primarily, especially here, is membership. But I want you to know that this is management, is the church management system. So there's lots of things for treasury here also. And we are going to explore some of these things. I know that some, the division is considering the option to have the treasury side to be in northern Ghana, to be piloting the treasury side. So we are going to talk about some of these features here also. And as you can see, these are some of the options that we have in ACMS. So we have the membership, this is the core of ACMS, but we also have other modules and features here. So we have the complete package for the treasury. We have the member app that we know as 7Me. online giving, interest, Sabbath school. We saw a bit about Sabbath school yesterday here with the group, and also integrated report and other things. So again, this is the Advent Church management system. It's supposed to help the whole church as much as possible to in the management of their members and other areas in the church. But we are going to start with 7Me. How many of you heard about 7Me? Let's see hands. Yeah, almost a good number of you. 7Me is the member app, but there's another way to say what is 7Me. 7Me is ACMS for members. Okay, you are that in touch with ACMS. 7Me is just the extension of ACMS, but focus on the member experience. That's why we say that it's your church at one touch. Okay, it's your church at one touch. It's us, the Adventist church, trying to bring the experience to the member into their pockets. I think most of people today have smartphones or phones, and during the pandemic, that was critical also, and that is a tool again for us to communicate with the member, to offer information to them, to offer services to the member. And so that's the first goal of 7Me. And sometimes people ask, why 7Me, right? I don't know if you... The idea is 7 being representing the Adventist church, right? 7 is a big number for us. And then me to have a connection with my personal life, my personal life with the church. And so the connection, the relationship between the two. So 7Me has actually 5 areas. And now I left my computer a bit, and I'm going to show some of these resources and features in my phone. So let me just share my screen. Okay, hope you can see. And this, Android, so it's an app, a native app as you are used to. So I have within my apps here 7Me, you can see in the bottom right. And I clicking here, I have this first page of 7Me. That is the central focus point for the member. And here we have a feed, not only of a news feed, but a feed of everything that is happening in the church. And the idea here is that you can connect with the services and platforms that you already have, let's say for news, into 7Me to provide news information also, but also things that are happening here in the app itself. So you can see right away we have a shortcut for tithe and offering. So you can click here and go to the tithe and offering. But the other thing we want to achieve with the 7Me is use that experience that people are usually used to in Facebook or Instagram. What it is? Infinite scroll. Did you heard about the infinite scroll? That people spend hours and hours just doing this. And I think that's something that I used to do. Why not to implement something with church content? Sometimes they are seeing all different things, but not church content. Even if they are addicted to scrolling, maybe on Sabbath they stop scrolling on Instagram or Facebook, and they scroll this and see the information on about the church. But you can also see that you have information about the Sabbaths, the events of the church here. Here we have videos for revival by His word. So what we are doing here, we ACMS and 7Me, we don't want to be the provider and offer people, let's say, to enter their content again in ACMS and 7Me. But most of the places, and I'm sure the division and the unions probably have some news portal, right? When we share these news, what happening in your region, so we can connect with this news portal and then consume that information and make available to the member. So sometimes they're using WordPress, that is a well-known content management for news, but also you can connect YouTube channel. So in this case here, you can see in my page, we have a YouTube channel for every day. They have a new video for the revival by His word. Okay, so and then the members can just play this video here. They don't need to go to YouTube to see that. Okay, so that's the first page. The second one that I want to show to you is the resources page. And here is another attempt to provide content to the member. Okay? And again, this can be configured for your region. From your conference, if you have materials and content that you want to make available to the members, you can do this at the conference level, union level, division level also. So the idea is not you are seeing my church, so you're seeing the content for South American division, but this can be customized. So some highlights of possibilities that you can have here. You can have the Bible for the member. You can have the revival by His word. I don't know if you have daily devotionals here. So we have the daily devotional text here available for the member. We also have the Sabbath school guides available for the member here. Uh, if you have a link for your hymnal, you can make it available here. In South America, they made the YouTube channel for all the hymns, so the members can access these channels here. If you want to have all your Hope channel link here for their live stream, you can have here content for kids. So it's a central focus point for the members to see content that we are of the church are producing. Sometimes the member to find something, they need to Google something. So after this is a way that say you can tell your members, okay, you just go to 7Me, you'll have all the content that we are producing. It will be available there. Okay. The other option that we have here is prayer requests. And I think in one of the suggestions on Monday, somebody mentioned about maybe we could have something to engage people in prayer, right? So this is available in 7Me. So how that works? Basically, we have this area where you can post your prayer request. Okay, so let's say if I want to post a prayer request, I can choose with who I want to share. If I want to share with my conference, with all the members of my conference, or if I want to restrict that and then just share with my church members. After I post my prayer request, then you can see another feed, but a feed now also with just prayer requests that were shared with me. So let's say we have this prayer request here, and you can see you have a little prayer button there. I don't know if you can read, but the blue button here is actually a prayer button. Again, we are trying to use the experience that the members have with their apps that are used to. So the prayer button works basically like a like button on Facebook. Okay? So if you pray for this person, you hit the prayer button, and the person that make the request receive a notification. Let's say, Tiago, just prayer for your request. Okay? So in that way, we are hoping to create an engagement, a prayer engagement with your members, um, to join into prayer here. And it's very nice. I've used sometimes, and sometimes that I had a prayer request I posted here, and I had some people that was praying for me in that particular way. So that's, again, we are talking about a tool to be used in mission to help the members. So that's the goal. But let's say if you want to create a group of prayers. So let's say if I want to join you in a prayer and you are not in my church, you're not in my conference, but we want to share and create, we have the option to create a group of prayer. And that's similar what we have with the WhatsApp groups. So you can create a new group here. You give a name for the group, a brief description. It can be like, let's say, the Sabbath school prayer group or the small group prayer group, or even if the pastor wants to create one for the whole district, they can create this. And then let me open one here. Uh, you have the option to share this group. Okay, we are going to provide, you have the share button here that you can send a link via WhatsApp, and people can click this link and join this prayer group and post just in that prayer group. Let's say the pastor, if they are going to create a prayer group for the district, they can save this QR code and then share this information with their members, and then the members that join can pray together. Sometimes it's a prayer week that you do a special prayer group for and there's no limitations. So you can have as many people and as many groups as you want. Um, the next one. So we saw three options for now. The next one is the profile, and here I think it's going to be a little bit more clear the connection with ACMS. Okay, because if I add my profile, what I'm editing, the profile from ACMS. Okay, so we are talking about update the address to get the member that talk to get the member where the member is to link with the Sabbath school. So here you can actually change and update your member address and all the information. Um, the only restriction here is if you change your picture or if you change your name, the church secretary or the church clerk needs to approve that information. It's the only information that requires an approval. So we don't have members disappearing, basically, right? Changing their names for anything else. So you need to have an approval. We offer the ability because they can see, okay, my name is wrong. We need to fix. They can do that, but then we just need to have a little approve here in their in this process. Okay, so you can see that all the areas basically that we have in the member profile in ACMS is available for them, so they can see their families here. So you can see my name and my wife's name here, all the contact information. When you're doing the member emphasis day, it was that you can also if you're using 7Me, you can actually request the members to go there and update and check their profile. Okay. Um, the next feature that we have here is this option to request transfer. Okay. So we are not changing. I mentioned that ACMS and 7Me are church manual compliant. So we're still doing that. But now the member can initiate the process using their app, 7Me. Okay, so it's loading now, hopefully, all the church that we have here in the region. And the member can pick the church and start the process. How that works? It's going to make a request to the transfers, the church that the person wants to transfer, and based on that, it will need to be approved at that church, so the actual request is confirmed. So I will do this. So I can see that we have lots of churches here, right? So that's amazing. Uh, so I'll pick one church here. So yes, do you want to do this? Yeah, I want to. Then, because I have my family uh, linked to my profile, I even have the option to include my wife here and request both letters to be transferred. Okay? So I don't know if you're noticing for the people that are dealing with ACMS and the membership side, all the work that we do to have the information up to date, uh, we are using now, right? The family. If you don't, I don't have the family. I don't have this feature working. So when we see value on when we are using the information, people also get more motivated to enter the information. So that's one. The church map, yeah. So yeah, if I come back here for the church map, where are we get this information from? From ACMS, right? And we have churches with picture, we have churches that don't have pictures. Maybe the church is in the right place, in the right location, right, Jerry? Maybe not. So we are going to probably talk a little bit more how to do this or some features that we have for update the address. But that's it's very important to have this information correct. So let me do this. I want to start the process. Uh, and again, ACMS have me trying to um, help you to get update information. I don't know if you can read this message, but your transfer has been requested. Would you like to update your contacts and address? So that's a good moment, right? To ask, okay, you're moving, probably. Do you want to update your information here? So it's 7Me trying to help us to get up to date information here. In settings, we have other options here. We can change your password, change languages, change some configurations. Again, we have terms and consents here. So if we're talking about data privacy, 7Me can help with consents, to getting consents from the members. So this is some of the options that we have in this area. And then in the member profile, you can see also, and then we are entering a bit more for some features for the treasures here. Um, the history of giving. Okay, we are going to touch a bit more on the treasury side, but if you have 7Me online givings and the treasury module enabled, the member has an opportunity to have a history of all their donations, all their givings that was made. Not only the things that were made via the app, but also the ones that they delivered, they gave the envelope in their offering plates, and the treasurers enter that information. It will be available for them here. And you can see that I have different churches here, and I can even have different currencies here. So because sometimes I have the chance to do these implementations in other places, um, I have Euro, a church in Europe here using. I have churches in South Africa, they are already using. So I have a complete history of my givings everywhere I go that they are using ACMS. I could record that giving, and I have a history of all this information. So ACMS is, and 7Me, we are working to bring transparency to the member. Okay, I have a way to confirm that my money was recorded. I get a receipt, and I'm sure that the money is going to the right place, and that's critical sometimes. And members sometimes don't trust the church because they're not sure about the process. How is that happening? So this is a way for us to offer transparency to the member. And if they're trusting the church, they are probably more willing to give their tithe and offerings to the church. And the last option that we have is the church area, where all the information, all the features about the church are available here. So first, we have a picture of this church. Okay? Again, this picture came from where? The CMS. Okay? See, if you don't have pictures there, it will look different here. So it's one more reason for us to ask the picture of the church. Also, if I click in more information, I have again the address of the church, the website in this case, phone numbers, email, Facebook account, YouTube channel, all enter in ACMS and make available to the member here. Okay? So that shows the importance. So you may ask why these guys are asking for the social media of the church here. We are not using anywhere. Well, yes, we are. We are. It's here available, making this available for the member. The other thing that you can see is the upcoming events. So uh, here, I will jump to the full version of this. We have calendar option for the church. Okay, so if I click here, I can see all the events that are happening in my church. And this is available for the church level, but it's also available for all the other levels. So you can see in blue is the church events, but I have conference events, uni events, and division events. So every level of the church can use ACMS to enter these events and make this available for the member. Okay, we are not talking about to enter all the conference calendar here, but all the events that are relevant to the members. It will be nice to make this available to the members. And if you have this, you can do some things with the events. Let's say, if I choose this is like the worship service of my church. I can see the address of my church. I can see also because they are streaming that. I have the link for the stream here. I can add this to my calendar if I want, but I can also share this with my friends. Let's say if I want to invite Sherry to attend my church, you can see the name of my event, the worship that we are doing, and I can send and invite people to come to church using this. So that's one more thing to share what's happening with my church. And depending on how you use this, it can also almost become the church bulletin of your local congregation. Because if you have all the events happening there, yeah, they will be available for the members. I think for the pilot church, we made a basic configuration for Northern Ghana. Um, and I'm not sure if Bafur has access to do that. But right now, we have the options to have these resources to be configured at the conference level and at the union level and vision level. We're not, it's not open currently to church level to do them. But we have an interface in ACMS that, let's say, the union or the conference, if we decide that will be there, available there, can enter new resources there. Okay, so it's available. Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, my question is with the Titan offering. In some local churches, they have project giving for a particular year. Maybe we want to buy furniture for the church, we want to roof the church, so they have that project there. So I was asking, where there's Titan offering, other options I saw you had listed there. So is there an option for the district pastor or the church clerk to add something like that to that option, or is fixed?
Yes, the answer yes. The list when I was showing the that I was giving to the Pathfinder Club, that list is a customized list per church. Okay, so the treasurer of the church can enter new departments, new projects, let's say, if they have for the year, and make that available into 7E also for the members to give. We don't have an open option. Let's say, okay, I didn't find this, and you can choose anything and put anything there. But the treasurer can control that, and if he feels a need to add another one, he's able to do it that on ACMS. Okay.
My question is on the payment mode, the payment options.
Uh-huh.
I realize for your case, you are using these cards, credit cards, and these accounts. But can we have country specific? For instance, for him,
Mobile money.
is it possible?
Yeah, I will talk about that a bit more. There's challenges, I would say, but I'll when I'm doing the treasury talk, I will explore a little bit more, and I can answer a bit better. Then. Okay. One more there. Let's take just one more, I guess, and we move. So special feature for only for admins, it's not for members. Yeah. Yes. So uh, only members can request transfers, right? So if you enter, if you register ACMS as a non-member, a person, the this option of transfer to another church will not be available. Okay. The other thing that is different for a non-member is this area here of the finances of the church. Okay. So we want to be transparent, but we want to be transparent with our members. If they are not members yet, they will not have this option available. That's the two differences that we have so far in the in 7Me. If you're a member or if you're not a member, what's the question? Is that right? Yeah.
Want to know that this are solely for advent. Oh, we don't have any special ID.
Non-advents. If you have special items for non-advents, yeah, is that the question?
The question is, just like the ACMS, hello,
Yeah.
I'm asking that the 7Me, is it similar to the ACMS, just as it is on the laptop? That if you are not, yes, if you are not a clerk or local data manager, you cannot have access to that app, even though you can download it.
The 7Me is available for everyone. Everyone that wants to download a 7Me and create their record, he'll be able to do it.
Before you can create a record, wouldn't there be some form of Adventist feature for you to enable you to get the access to that platform?
I'm not getting it. Can you help me? Oh, they definitely can download and use. I don't know, Sherry, you want to compliment?
Yeah, they certainly can, but when they start to use it, they need to connect with a local church. And then we'd be happy to have them connect to the local church and have the pastors and elders, because then there'll be a record in ACMS for them. If they connect, they will be either a person or an interest in ACMS. And then they can be visited if they provide their contact information. So they are then asking to be reached out to by a local church if they do download and use the system. And then if they decide they no longer want to be connected to a church, they have the option to remove their 7Me account. But yes, anybody can use it. But if you're already in the system and if you are a member, you have additional things you can do, like requesting your transfer and seeing the church finances. And then there's no other app in the world church that can verify a member. right? If you use the Sabbath School app, if you use an Ellen G. White app, those can be downloaded by anybody, but you have no idea if they're members or not. With this system, we do know who the members are because it's all coming out of ACMS. All right. And as we develop additional features for 7Me, we may have some additional features that are strictly for the members. Right now, there aren't too many that are only for the members, but this is a living product as well, where we will be continuing to try to add value so that the members will want to use it. And hearing ideas about what will add value for a church member or a church interest, we welcome hearing that. And if I heard correctly, we already had one suggestion, a dating app. But if there are other suggestions on what will add value so that a member will want to do it, because their address is not going to change very often. They're not going to request a transfer very often, right? Now, if they donate regularly, they'd be using the app. But what are other things that would have them use it? Pulling all the communication channels together, the multiple channels, all the YouTube, Instagram, all of that, and pulling all the resources together so that a member isn't having, like Thiago said, having to go Google and find different YouTube and Instagram channels and websites. They can all be right there.
Yeah.
And customized for your church can add resources, your conference, your union, your division. Just to be strategic, you don't want to overwhelm the members with 3,000 things. They might not ever find it, but those decisions will be made locally. What do you want to provide for the users to have, the members to have in their hands?
Yeah, I think it's clear that the potential that we have few features now available. I like the relationship area.
Ended has already yielding benefits. And that's not the only, we get little things from Tembe and SID sort of regularly about these remarkable things that are happening. And they started with a pilot. They started with a pilot conference, and then that moved to a pilot union. And they have made the decision before they even finish that entire first union to do it in the entire division because of the benefits they were seeing. And I'm not trying to glorify ACMS. I'm trying to educate on the benefits of using this type of system. So please consider those things as we are discussing this further. Thank you for Thiago for letting me grab the microphone.
For sure. Always. Yeah. So I think you can see in my phone that I scanned that QR code, and you can see that the amount that I have there is the same amount that was issued in the receipt. Okay? So 407 and 6. So let's see. 407.20 and 6. So you can match and make sure that it's not different. Okay? Because, yeah, somebody can kind of change the PDF and do something, but they cannot change something in ACMS. Okay? So if they check there, it will be there. If there's some difference, they need to talk. So this is a receipt. You can see for the treasures here, there's the receipt series, the number for each receipt. You have all the information of the conference. So this is a receipt, a valid receipt. Okay? So this is the income side of it. We also have all the control of the finances of the church. Okay? So you're not only worried about how to help them with the income, but also with the expenses of the church. So we have first a control, a way for them to record all the expenses that are happening advances. I don't know if you have these, but sometimes, let's say the department that takes care of flowers, to help the church, to decorate the church, wants money to buy something. So you can record that, okay, I gave $100 for this person for them to buy this. And sometimes there's so many requests. We have it's advances, and then they can return the invoice or return the money and check that is done. Uh, Also, we have a way to help with the budgeting of the church. We have a few ways to control the budget of the church, right? So if they are if they want to distribute their money via some percentage, they can, but there's other ways also to control budgets. If you're using bank accounts, does the church kind of have some bank accounts for the church? I don't know if somebody from treasures can answer me. Yes, they have their local bank account. So if they are using a bank account, there's process there to help them and to have the bank accounts also in ACMS so they can have a real balances of what's happening in the church. Also, they can import the transactions from the bank account into ACMS and use that transactions also. Bank transfers, unidentified deposits is a way to, sometimes you have the church bank account available for members to give. I think in the pandemic, many churches ended up doing something like that, or even the mobile account for the church, right? Probably. So we could have the mobile account of the church here available, and then members give, and then you have a way to control what's being given. And if the member already turned off gave the envelope, so you can check that this is okay, and so that's a way to control this. And the last step from the church is what we call the remittance to generate the report to the conference. And usually, there are some places that if they're not using a system, the treasurer actually needs to calculate this. Or they have a spreadsheet to help, but they have to calculate, okay, I'm talking about combined offerings. So the member gave combined offerings, so 50% goes to the conference, 50% stay to my church. If it's tight, it's 100%. They need to do this by hand. Is that the reality in some places here? That they need to do this by hand? So first is a big job, right? It takes a lots of time from the treasurer to do that. If you're using ACMS, you don't need to calculate anything because you enter the categories, the type of offering they are doing, and the system already know the percentage. So they just push a button and they know here how much we're going to stay in the local church, how much they need to send to the conference. They don't need to calculate anything. They just need to see the amount that they need to send at the end and then transfer that funds to the conference. So I think if you're doing a manual process in your church and you start to use the treasury side, you will save a lot of time and increase the process, the benefits of doing the remittance and this process of treasure in the local church. Also, this is something that is quite new. We have a way to control all the asset of the church. So this sometimes is helpful not only for the control, but sometimes they have insurance policy that you need to have at least a list. I don't know how you're doing insurance, but sometimes you need a list of what the assets of the church voted so they can, if something happens, you can have the insurance cover. So in ACMS, you have a way to take pictures. Let's say here we have a microphone that they record the amount, the value of that phone, the date that was bought, and all you have a list of all the assets of the church available for them to control and make sure that everything is accounted for. And also some reports. So let me see here. This is a report. In the left hand here, we have all the departments of this church. We have the percentage that they have. This is the percentage for the loose offering for the 50% that stay of the church. You have a way to configure that to say, okay, 18% you're going to be going to building. 5% goes to Pathfinders, to Adventures Club, 6% to communication. So you can create your budget of your church, and automatically the system will distribute that money. So you have your initial balance, the donations that you got there, the direct donation, the distributed donation, if that department had any expenses, and also if there are advances there, and then the final balance. So the church can actually have a vision of how is their financials here. Also, this is another one that you can have. We call monthly summary. You have this by week, and you have the amount of tithe you have in that week, the amount of world mission offering that you have. So, and you also can see the destination. So this is a conference offering or is a church offering, and you know how much you send to the conference, how much stay at the local church. Also, if you have online giving, yeah, I cannot zoom. I saw you move. If you know how to. Yeah, I tried. I'm using the video. Yeah. So you have a summary of that month on how are things on the financial side, on the income side, and also in the expenses side on that period. How much utilities did you pay, and all of the information here. It's very good to show this for the church also. This is basically in the detailed information that we are showing in 7Me. Just the percentage, you can see the details here. The treasurer can see the details here. This is another one that I liked, and I think maybe for the church board, it's nice to show this once in a while. That is, it will take the last 12 months, and you have a summary in this chart here. In blue is the income, and in orange is the expenses. So it's very easy to see how it is, right? So I can see in the December, my church expended a lot more than was they have the income. So it's easily to demonstrate how is the financial health of the church to your church board and even to the members if you want to do this. I think even the church manual encouraged the treasurers to report to the church at some point. Okay, so this is the church area. Some of the features. There are lots of other options there. And now let's see some of the features in the conference level. And the first thing that we have, we call the remittance control. That I think in this area you have the opportunity to almost do auditing every time that the church remit. You have a way to verify the tithe envelopes to check if that's okay, and also do all the payment controls. So if the church promised to pay 2,000 and they pay 150, 1,500, then you can record this and the difference will be charged next time. So the system can control all this information. Also, the online giving. We are not, because this is integrated, 7Me and ACMS, we are not only doing the capture of the money via the provider, but also the control of this. If you are receiving this from the provider, so sometimes you have, you capture 100 and you never saw that money. The provider didn't send you the money. So all these controls are also available here. And here we have all the payment providers that we have the integration made with ACMS. And I want to highlight one specific, that is DPO. Okay, I don't know if you've heard about DPO, but DPO is a payment provider that is available in many, many countries in Africa. Okay, and um, and one of the difficult parts of the implementations when we are doing 7Me is to do this integration with a payment provider. And the good news here for Northern Ghana is that the integration from DPO is already made, it is available, and we can only talk with them and create our accounts with them and make this option available for you. And I would like to show, so DPO is available in Ghana, and a question was made about mobile money, right? So they have some options for mobile money here. And you probably recognize this MTM, or I don't know, I don't, but you probably recognize some of these options that is available through DPO, and because of that, it will be can be available into 7Me. Okay, we need to understand maybe if they have some difference, but basically the main integration is already done. So it's just a matter of contracts and configuration, and then it will be available for our members to be able to give via 7Me using this platform. I think they are also, I think I have another page here that they show more options here. I don't know if this is restricted to Ghana, but then you have credit card options, but also mobile payments available via DPO, and because we have the integration with them, can be available via 7Me. So I think that's good news. If we start with this integration, I think more than 2 years ago for SID, and then they had to wait for us to finish here. And in your case, it's already available, so that's, I think it's great. Reconciliation. Okay, so the treasurers and accountants here. You probably like this or you hate that, but that's something that is available for our local treasurers, for the or also for the conference to help with that. But there's an option in ACMS that you can import all the transactions, the bank transactions from the specific church, and then they can do the reconciliation to make sure that their balances that they have in the bank is the same one reflecting into ACMS, and then we can have accurate information into ACMS. Okay? And we try again to make this as simple as possible. I will try to show a bit of ACMS in practice to you. So we are talking about an accounting system basically here, a financial system. But we are aware that we are talking, we need to make our target goal are volunteers, right? I encounter many, many different treasures that they have different professions. The last one that I remember was a truck driver. And he mentioned, I was not using my computer, but now that I need to use ACMS, I'm using this. Later, if I need to text something, it was more than, I don't know, it was big text, I would ask my son. But now that I need to use this for my church, I will going to use this. So, and we cannot make this complex. So if you get, sometimes accounting systems are very complex to understand. And we are trying to do something very complex, as simple as possible for our treasures. Another one, this is we have some integrations, but I guess you use SunPlus, right? So we are working on an integration with SunPlus. Okay? Why? Because if you're using ACMS at the local church level, you have, today I think you get your reports and you have to manually enter in SunPlus, right? So if you're using ACMS, hopefully the treasurer will use ACMS, and then you only need to export one file and import that file into SunPlus, and you don't need to type anything. Okay, that's the goal. So if you're handling church the financial side using ACMS. Hopefully, you have this integration, and then you don't need to enter double work into SunPlus. Tithe and offering distribution. So we already talked a little bit about the distribution that we need to do at the local church level, right? So how much that the treasurers usually do this manually. But because we have that information, we can expand this to the next level, right? So at the conference level, we have a way to show this report. If I have a quick zoom option here, I don't think so. So here, with a push of a button, also, the conference level can understand how much tithe they need to send to the union, to the division, to the general conference, how much we're going to stay into the conference. And for every category, for every option that we have in the system, we have a way to configure the percentages that are voted. Usually these percentages are voted, right, in the board. And we can make that configuration and make these calculations to be made automatically into ACMS. Okay, so that's another option. We have a complete auditing module in ACMS. So I think the church manual recommends that we do an auditing at least once a year at the church. And in ACMS, we have a way to configure all the all the questions that you want to do for each church. Here, we have some areas. You can see the areas of the auditing here. And then ACMS will provide at the end of this process a report, auditing report that can be voted at the local church for the church board. And they can have recommendations, and then the approval of the pastor and the approval of the church board, and they can vote this report and then accomplish that requirement of the church manual here. Also, to help with this process, we have what we call auditing risk panel that we use like 16 different items based on the data that we have in ACMS to rank the churches that are in risk, let's say. If something is red, it's because it's not so good. So if you have to choose one church to do an auditing, you probably will choose the ones that are in red first, and then you move to the others. So it's an option that we have here. And also different reports, and this is one that I want to show again. At the beginning of the week, we mentioned the power of have the member data, right? And now we are saying that ACMS is not just membership. And we can do more connections. We mentioned the connections that we can do with the Sabbath school. And with this, now having the treasury side of the giving history of the members, now we can do the connection with the giving and the members. And this is a report especially for that. So it's a bit small to see, but here I have for a conference, each row is a church, and what we have in green is the percentage of members that gave in the last 12 months more than 8 times every month, okay? In orange, if they gave 1 time to 7 times, and in red, the percentage that we don't have any history of giving for that church. And we call spirit diagnostics. And here you can have a quick view in your church, in your conference. Okay, let's get this church here. 20% of the members are giving regularly every month, basically. And we have like 35% that are giving once in a while, okay? And we have 45% of them that we don't have any history of giving. And with this in hand, the pastors the church elders, they can work with the church. And this is a report that I'm showing here for the conference level, so we don't have names here, okay? But the local church can have access to the names of this person because we want to nurture them and understand. I think we've made a connection that if people are giving, they are they are less likely to go out of the church, right? So if you know the list of members that are not giving, why not to talk with them and nurture them? That's the goal. Again, mission. We're trying to use this to nurture our members to make sure this is not financial. Okay, that's not the goal of this report. To knock the door of the members that are not giving. It's to understand why they are not giving, and then help their spiritual life. And give then will be a consequence of that. Um, I think we briefly mentioned about these numbers here. I just want to highlight that every month ACMS is generating about 1.2 million receipts. Okay, we have about 31,000 churches already using ACMS for the treasury side. Okay, so this is a platform that was released. The treasury model was released back in 2014. So we have quite a few years already of this being matured and improved. So it's a platform that can probably help you and offer some of these features. And again, 1.2 million receipts every month we are generating. And the last talking point that I have here is a little bit about Power BI and that data analytics. This is just for you to have in mind a bit more of the potential that we have when we have all this data in ACMS. So this is a Power BI dashboard that is linking information about 7Me giving and the member data, okay? So first, in this area here, I have a breakdown of ages and the amount of people that are giving via the app, okay? So you can see that the age that are more, they use more for giving ACMS is from 30 to 34, okay? And the breakdown between females and males here. You have these options. So you can see the shape of age shape of the age range that we have here. So here again, we are getting treasury information, right? The amount of people that are giving, combined with membership information, their age and their gender, okay? Also, in this side, I have the days of the week. It is in Portuguese, so I will have to explain for you. This is Sunday and this is Sabbath, okay? So we can see that the day that people give less is Sunday. But Sabbath is not the day that they give more. It's actually Friday. And that's interesting to know, right? We know that our members are preparing on Friday and they do their giving. The next day, and I think this is I saw this on a recent one, that the next day is Monday. It's not Sabbath again. So Sabbath is being, as more people use 7Me, they not giving on Sabbath, they're giving other days because they're planning their givings. Okay, and then we have other information here. This is a nice comparison. So this is the one that I highlighted before, the age range that we give in 7Me against, and in this side you have the age range of givers in general that are giving their offering plates. So you can see there is a different shape, right? So we are reaching more young people in with 7Me. In South America, they made a study and they was analyzing that young people are not using cash, right? Paper cash. They are using credit cards or mobile money. They are not using. I don't know if that's happening here, probably, right? Use less cash. So the member go to church, doesn't have cash with him, so doesn't give, right? Doesn't offering. But he remembers, oh, I need to go to the bank and get some cash. But the week goes by and doesn't remember to go to the church, to the bank, and to get some cash to in the next Sabbath. Remember again and don't give. So with 7Me, especially for these kind of people that are not using cash anymore, they if they remember that they need to give, they for sure they have their phones in their hands and they can take that moment and do their giving. And then I think church is trying to make it easier for people to be faithful and give. So that's the goal here. It's not to be an impediment for the members that the church don't have any way for me to give online and I'm only using online right now. How can I do them, right? So that's one of the reasons. But the potential is to cross information, analyze information, right? So we let's say if we have the Sabbath school information combining with treasury information, the member information, we can say how many people that are attending Sabbath school are we losing that are givers or not. So we have all this information that you can combine. So last thing here, just because usually when we are doing membership and treasury implementation, we say that this is a new marriage, okay? Treasurers and church clerk secretaries will have to work together. Treasurers don't have access in ACMS to change member information or to they can see the member information, but they are not the holders, let's say the ones that takes care of the membership list. So they will have to get help from the membership clerks. And they will probably push a bit. If the membership information is not up to date, Pastor, they will the treasurers will knock the door and say, okay, I need to receipt to this person where it is. So that will create also, because that's why we are saying that we need to work together, treasurers and secretaries, okay? This is just a QR code for a YouTube channel. We are going to talk more about this. And yeah, no, I decided to do something different. I want to show ACMS for the treasury side in live, okay? So let's do a demo before we finish. And we got more time. Thank you. I don't know how that happened, but we have a bit more time. So let me move to any questions so far? So let's take a minute before we move. One question there. We have a few ways to do that, but usually the receipts it will be ideally to link them to a person, okay? To a record into ACMS. But as you know, because we talked about this already, ACMS has an option to group people in families, right? So I think that's something that still needs works in some areas, but ideally, the solution is let's group people in families, and then we can get reports by family, okay? What you want is, let's say the report that I show you, the percentages of givers, right? we have to have that report by family also. We have the individual vision, but also the family vision. Então, again, because we have this integration, we have already the families, hopefully we have the families. If you give to the head of the family or for anyone in the family, then we can have a report by families, and then you have your information. I will show when receipting a few other options that you can have that will make the receipt a little bit more um, easy, let's say, for the member that is receiving to make sure that this is a family giving receipt. Okay, so that's a few other options then. Okay, but I will show.
In your lecture, you said that as soon as somebody makes a payment on the tithe and the combined offering, the system does all the apportionment, what is supposed to be on the local level, the conference. I want to know, is there whether the administrators, do they have any control as to when it comes to amendment of the percentages? Because the reason why I'm asking is, once in a while, the conference may be embarking on a certain project, and they will ask the local church to support them with a certain percentage of their combined offering that will be left in the local church. When it comes into that way, you will see that the whole percentage will change. Now, the conference will get more of the combined offering than the local church, what they are supposed to get. When it comes into this situation, would there be any chance for the administrators to amend the percentages in the system?
Yes. So I think the way that we have to configure the percentage distribution, it's very flexible. So let's say if you have the combined offering, I think this is 50-50 here. Yeah. So let's say that you agree, voted that for 3 months, it will be 55 and 45. Okay. So we have a way in ACMS to configure by the date, let's say 1st of September till 1st of December, let's say, this will be the distribution, 55, 45, and that will be done automatically. And as soon as the dates change, it will come back to the other one, or you need to do another distribution for that period. So it's very flexible. This configuration is handled today by us. Let's say you need to do a request and say, okay, I want to change that. It was voted in my field to be this and that, and you to share for us. And we do the configuration because it's a bit technical, but this is completely possible to do that for any of the categories, even to create another one. Let's say I just have this project for my conference or for my union or for the division that we want to help create new churches. And then we can create a new category that will be available for all your churches, even in 7Me. It will be available for the members to pick that as an option. So it's possible. More questions? Good. We have one in the back.
Thank you very much. A sample research I was doing in a number of our churches confirmed that the number of church members returning tithe aligned with the number of church members attending the Lord's Supper service. Is there a system in this that can help us to get accurate data of members attending the Lord's Supper service for us to be able to confirm whether it is really true that based on spirituality, that is members who are faithful in tithing, who attend the Lord's Supper service, for us to take a radical solution to that issue?
I need a little bit of help understanding better the question. But attendance versus giving, is that the subject, right? Communion service, sure. I don't know. It's communion service.
You could record how many people attended communion. You can record those numbers. And so it could be possible if you knew how many attended communion that quarter to correlate with how many donated that quarter. Okay, that could be possible, but we don't have that linkage right now. And linking something from integrated report is something we haven't done yet. But you would have the ability for them to record communion attendance, and then you could compare that to analyze it. Yeah, and it would keep that attendance for every quarter. Every time it's entered, it would be recorded if you set that up as one of your questions.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing an attendance feature here that you can customize what you want to to record attendance, and then if you, so the the answer now that I understood a bit more also is um, again we are not recording attendance for communion services, right? But if we have that, then we have the information, then we start to cross that information, make sure that you have a report on that. But I think now remember that somebody already asked that question to have a way to record attendance for the communion services by person. Okay. Okay. Yeah, but in order to, if you want to cross that information, then we'll be doing individually. Okay. Questions more? Okay. I'm going to move and do a demonstration. And I'm going to, let's do this. I will do it one time. I will do the process to record um, a new receipt, and I will ask help for the second time for somebody to do it for me. Okay? Come up here. Is that okay? So pay attention. We have candidates. So let me just make sure that I'm in the right place here. Okay. The, you already come here in front. It's part of the training, not singing. Okay. So I'm in a church, a demonstration church, okay? And as you can see, or not, because it's not too big, let me try to make it a little bit bigger. This church has the treasury side enabled. Oops. Okay. Well, they are bringing another one. Let's see if it's hold it up. Okay. So as you can see, I think it's better now. Let's see. ACMS, when we have the treasury module enabled, and the person has access, you can see many, many other options here. Okay. Uh, we have the tithe and offering here. We have the expenses, advances that I mentioned, um, transfers, unidentified deposits, import bank statement, the asset control that I mentioned, auditing. So lots and lots of things. We are going just to see quickly the how to receive one tithe envelope. Okay, so to do that, you go to income, receipt, tithe, and offering, and we have this option to create a batch. Okay, what is a batch? Batch is a organizer, let's say. It's a place, a digital organizer. So you have the date that you receive the tithe envelope, the currency that you have, and some description. And inside of this batch, we enter all the receipts. Okay? So I have my batch here, and I have the option to capture, enter all the information. And this is the page that we have. We try to preload this. Okay, so this is for the treasures. You know that this is a very critical process. So is where the treasury spend a lot of time. So we don't want to have them spending too much time. So everything is preloaded. I can even turn off. I'll be brave here. Okay, I will turn off my connection. Okay, and I'll continue to use this page. Let's see if it works. So I chose my name here. I can have a list of the offerings option here. So I choose tithe, then I put the amount of tithe. I have the notes. So here in the notes for the family questions, I can put an observation here, enter an observation. This is a family tithe um, option, okay? So this will show in the receipt to the member. Let's say, okay, so I save. Let's say if I have another, if the member gave combine offering, so I choose the next one. You can see on the right side here that I have my envelope being built, right? The same thing that I did in 7Me, I'm doing here in as the treasurer. I was doing the enter the envelope information. So I put this information, and then if I want to give to the Pathfinder, that is usually my example. I know that it is the 55, and then it will open the option uh, to the Pathfinder Club here, and then I put the information, and then I can save this. Okay? Yeah, if I have finished, I can enter one more time, and I can uh, see that I have my receipt here, but the save the option here is a bit funny, right? It's not right. I don't have a check here because I don't have internet. Okay, my internet is off. I will try to enable here. Let's see what happens. Can you see? Nothing. Yeah, basically, it was saved. So this page is the only page basically in ACMS that if you don't have a stable internet connection, you can still finish your work here because everything, basically most of the things here are preloaded and you can continue your work. Okay? The other thing that I want to search here is, let me see if I can. Let me try to find Gary here. Okay. Just to find your name here. I think you're not a member of my church, right? Yeah. So I cannot find Gary. What happened? Can I do it? I need to do it, right? I have to have a way to, even for non-members of my church, I have an option to receive them. But we want to make
effort. So, hopefully we can find Jerry's brother somewhere else. Don't know. Well, and you can see that in this case we are searching for pastors, members, people, persons. Okay? So we have a lot of Jerry's. I don't know if we have, oh, we have a Jerry Chase. I will focus on this one of my brothers. Okay. So we have a Jerry here, and he's member on this church, not a church of even my focus, but I can link information to him to make sure that this type, in this case, let's say this type, is linked to his members. Okay?
The next time we are going to preload his name also because he gave in our church. So that's the second option. Okay, the first option is a regular member I can find. I just link to them. The second option I cannot find, but I want to try to find if he's a member in another church. When I do this global church, I need to inform also that this is respecting all the privacy rules that we have in ACMS. So there's some countries and some places that they restricted access there. So we are going not to find the person because we are respecting that privacy configuration there. But there are many places that are not, and so you can try to find the member record and link to the donation there. But let's say if we have a member,
Jerry is officially a member of we don't have members from American here, so we probably not going to find permanent residents here. So let's say if that's the case. So I can just type her name, and let's say if I search, I didn't find, how can I link this? How can I speak to a person that is missing? So we have this option to play with it. It's not yet a member, but one time given. Okay? I don't have all the data. I only have the name. So if I check this, it will enable me to go
to the other option, and I can actually create a receipt without uh, having to link to a person in ACMS. Okay? But what's the next question? Oh, how the person get the receipt? Yeah, that's one. But there's another case that usually come up that is, okay, but I have an interest of the church that he is starting to give every Sabbath. Can I record that member and then start to give the receipts directly to his record and have the history of the member? Yes, we come back to the feature of the interest in ACMS. Okay? So if you have somebody that is, let's say, having Bible studies, understood the message of tithe and offering, and then he started to give, and you don't have him here as a member, you can enter his record as an interest of the church, and then start to record the tithe and offerings to that record, uh, and then they will have a history. When they get baptized, they can use the same record, and the member already have a history of giving even before he was baptized. So you have that option also. So going to your, so here we have a list of members of givings, of receipts, and then I can change this and I can do all types of things. But let me just reduce the zoom here. If I come back here, I can see the total amount of my batch and how do I send the receipt to the members. Um, we do this process when we close the batch, okay? So when we close the batch, we do all the calculations, how much needs to stay for the local church and how much needs to be sent to the conference. And also for all the members that have email or in the future have SMS, have their phones, enter, we are going to send an SMS with the receipt. So this is the moment that we do that, okay? And when we close a batch, we do all the calculations, we send the emails and we send the, the SMS. But there's people that probably don't have their phones and emails in SMS, and we still want to do something and give them the receipts. So we have the report that you can print the receipts, and then I don't know if you use reusable envelopes. Sometimes they use or create a new disposable envelope, put the receipt inside, and give to the member. Okay, so this is the the receipt. You can see the information. We don't have a history here. The ones that don't have, let's say Sherry, that was just a one-time receipt. You don't have a history, but you can print this and give back to the member. So, do you have a volunteer to create a new batch and at least enter a new receipt? Do you want to do it? No. No, a volunteer. If you want, somebody wants to do it. A treasure, maybe a treasure. Maybe a treasure. I don't know. Okay. No one. We have one there. Come on. Yeah. Oh, it's a question. A question. So let's do questions. Okay, let's do questions. Let's do questions. Yeah, it's the one-time option that I showed. Okay, so you have an option. If if you don't have the member record there or the person record somehow, let me just create a new batch quickly here. Uh, you have this option, not yet a member. Okay, so you have to check this option, and then you can enter the name of the person, and basically you receipt to the description that you put here. Okay, it will not be linked to a member if you check this option here. Okay, not yet a member. So that's the way to do it. Okay. The loose offering. The okay. It's the same procedure. Okay. So for the loose offering, we have this option here. Okay, loose offering. When I click here, the system automatically put the description for loose offering, and we even have a possibility to configure the full category for that. In this case, is the category 24 loose offering, and then you just say, and you can, I think you can add, let's say, loose offering for Sabbath school, okay? And then you enter the amount here of loose offering. Yeah. And then you save the receipt. So everything needs to be receipt, okay? So if you're talking about the loose offering, you have this little option here for loose offering. Better now? More questions? Okay. I hope you understood what I said. But yeah, I think if you, okay, we have one more question. Yeah, the the treasurer can add a new, we call department here. So um, so we have the option that is 55. So when you choose the 55 offering type, it will open the department, the option that you are mentioning. And all that is listed here, the treasurer of the church can enter this list of departments of offerings that he wants to make available. This will be staying 100% for the local church, okay? But they have the option to create these departments, but we have a possibility that the conference needs to approve and check that. The, the local treasurer of the church adds, and the conference just check and approves. We have that option because sometimes the churches create too many options and some different reasons. So just to have another pair of eyes basically checking if that's okay. But they can create. I didn't get that. Description, open description. Notes. Okay, yeah. Could be, yeah. This is a translation. We can change notes for description or yeah, that's a translation. That's easy.
A percentage goes to the districts, but I didn't see the district column. The remittances to the districts. It was only the local church and the conference. 10% of the combined offering goes to the districts. 10% of the combined offering, it goes to the districts. But I didn't see the districts after the day's activity.
Yeah, the way that we have, I don't know if that's common. I think if I understood correctly, 10% of the combined offering goes to the district. Okay, 20%. Yeah, I think the way that ACMS is today is just staying in the church or sending to the conference, okay? The district is not an entity that you can do this configuration. If you have that need, we probably need to talk more about and understand better how, but today is not available. We have more questions there in the back. Oh, here first, sorry. Yeah, this could be sent to the conference and the conference distribute back to the district. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. But I am it's something new. It's the first time that I heard that. So it's something that we probably need to talk more and understand more about and see the best solution.
Is using this system for income receipts and those things. Well, is it possible that, like we do in our local churches, every quarter we generate reports? Is the system able to generate a report that will be explainable to all the local church, like we do manually?
I didn't explore too much of the reports, but there's one of that I mentioned that's all the income, and you can choose the period that you want the report with the amounts that you're sending to the conference, the ones that are staying, and also the expenses of the church. So you have different reports to do that. And let me see if I can show at least. Yeah, you can see here financial report, monthly report, treasury transaction, department balance, department statement, income. So you can see the amount of reports that we have here. So you have to explore it. We don't have the time to show in detail all of this. There's a lot of options for reports that they can use to show this to the church, but also in the day-to-day work that they need to do, all the detailed transactions and everything. So. No, yeah, this is just an overview. Okay, just an overview for you to get contact with some of the features that we have. And then if we move forward with implementation, then we need to schedule a proper training and it's all other steps. It's just an overview of what ACMS has to offer. Okay.
Typically, with a pilot union, which Northern Ghana is, Chiago and one or two others would be coming back for at least 1 week. And that is for training and for doing the initial configurations. It's more complex, the work in the system that has to be done ahead of time for Treasury than for the membership side. So he'll be back for a week when you're actually going to start rolling out here in Northern Ghana. And typically, not all churches come on at the same time, right? So your administration will guide determining which conferences or which and which churches to start with as you start to get the feel of it. And so you don't just flip a switch and have everybody in the union all at once come on. Okay, so it'll be a bit of a rollout process, and it will get started with the week that he comes back. Okay?
Thank you, Sherry. I have a new trip now. Eh, yeah.
Combination with your union treasurer, of course. So they will be making the decisions on the timing.
It's, as Sherry mentioned, it's a bit more complex, the configuration we need to do. We have contracts. Let's say if we want to use DPO to have the online giving available in 7 we need to contact these companies and then see how much they will charge and that kind of stuff to do the integration. So there's a lot of things in place that needs to be done.
But let me add this, that if you are interested, I don't know why you are asking if you're like you don't want to see it for a long time or if you want to see it. But if you are interested in this, let your union treasurer know so that he knows the level of interest, but also things you can start doing now. Tiago will talk to administration about the contracts and such for DPO. But in ACMS, some of the things that you can start doing is, well, I guess Northern Ghana has their members entered. Usually I'm telling people you need to get your members entered so that they'll be there. Yeah. Yeah, the contact information, mobile numbers for the members, that will help. We don't have the SMS receipt option yet, but when we have that, if their mobile numbers are in there, they'll be able to select that option. So getting their contact information up to date will help for the receipting so that they can get email or SMS receipts. So you can go ahead and be encouraging that right now and be getting that going.
Yes. Any other? Oh,
I think at this junction, I need to add my voice on behalf of my colleague to let you know that we have already taken a bold step administratively to embark on this. I know that when we began this journey 10 years ago, those of us who were closer to GC Sherry, we knew that it was a whole package. It's not just members aspect. We have financial aspect. That's why if you could recall from the beginning, when the idea of all-in-one came, you will see that Secretariat never supported it because this is a whole package for the whole church with a lot of, it's interconnected. You are seeing all the churches, everything is a package. So we thank God as Secretariat held to that one till the current administration came with many other meetings we have been holding in GC. We understood that this is the direction. And we have agreed that this is what the entire division is going to do. So, as you could understand, they needed a pilot union. And we took the best, which is your union. And we know that all the churches are not going to begin at the same time. So forget about it. It's not something everybody, like you see, even the whole 10 unions, we are beginning with one. So they are surely going to consider the best conference or one or two. Even within that conference, they will begin with maybe some churches. That's the way it goes. But by God's grace, we hope by 2025, if it depends on us, the whole division will be there. If it depends on us, the whole division. So that's the way. And as Sherry mentioned, the treasurers are going to hold a meeting. All the treasurers with Sherry, Tiago, and co, like a kind of discussion will begin so that others will know. They will show them some of those things so that people will understand the direction. And they will know what they need to do for the meantime. There are a level of administrative decisions that need to be taken. Like now in this union, the administration will agree which field is beginning, all those things. We are not the one deciding for them. But we have given the go-ahead that the implementation should be done in this place. If there are some other things to be taken as action by the division, we will do it, forward it to GC and co. So I want us to, so there won't be any pressure, but be ready. Your time will come and then you will join, everybody will join. Is that okay with all of us? So we are not, if somebody say he want to continue with all-in-one, if a local church want to do it, but as far as the division is concerned, we are not there as a division. Thank you.
okay. I think we are over with the time. I don't know if we have. Sorry.
Hello, on behalf of the treasurers and our friends who are here, I think we have to commend you for this app. In fact, I've been following it, and it touches on all the aspects the churches may need. So it's a very good app. And we want to encourage, like we are here, we're also going to promote it. So I'm thinking that maybe the training should come very soon, so that as we have listened to you, they will not go and forget. If it were to be me, I would even think about next month, if possible, we start the training and it goes down to the church members. It's a very good program, and we are going to support it and promote it. And we know the benefits, as you said, are also going to come to our union and from here to all the other unions. So we want to thank you for choosing Northern Ghana Union Conference as a pilot union. And I know by the grace of God, it is going to succeed from here. And the others are also going to enjoy. Thank you very much. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Sherry?
Before we end this segment, because we aren't sure how long the treasurers are going to be with us, we brought just a few very small tokens that we want to distribute as we end this segment. So I have 1, 2, 3 helpers. Pastor Chris, would you be willing to come up and help and give everybody one of the items that you have? So we are handing out little ACMS magnets, okay, our logo, and as well as some stickers. And you can put the stickers on your laptop, on your office door, on wherever you want to put those. I thank you. Absolutely. And thank you for your attention. One thing I do want to mention is that Tiago showed many elements of the Treasury package. Your conference and local churches don't have to start out using all of those. Okay? So when you start using the system, you may not immediately be using or implementing the auditing section. Okay, raise your hand if you're missing a magnet. Fine. Okay, are we together? Are we together? Raise your hand if you need an ACMS Plus sticker. Okay, raise your hand if you need the magnet logo. I'm still hearing plus, plus.
Hello, good afternoon. Good afternoon to you all. You are so excited. The treasurers among us, please, when we close, meet our union treasurer in his office for important information. So, the union treasurers among us. Also, please, motie me mpɛ sɛ meka no yɛ kasa mu. Nsuo no sa wonom a, obi nom soro kakra na wagya asi hɔ no wɔkɔ. Ahwɛ a wɔkyena no yɛde toa bɛsia na anom wie a, na wakɔ akɔfele. Basa bɛha adwene nti mesrɛ wo. Ne nyinaa sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a, yɛbɛtumi akora sika kakra. Ne nsɛm bɛyɛ saa. Adeɛ yɛwɔ dwonsobu o, nto nom ano ansɛ you pass it out. Awurade nhyerɛ. Amen. Sɛ yɛkɔ break. Let's have 10 minutes break and then come back. Stand up. No, treasurers will close before. So the treasurer is not coming back again. Oh. Tiago, Are the treasurers coming back after break? Or you are done with them? Okay, so treasurers, God be with you. So see treasurer now before you leave. Saturday, we are waiting for you. We'll be meeting at Kwadaso for the celebration. So please come. My treasurers, please, when you are coming on Sabbath, come with your portfolio. We have had discussion with the administration, so we need your support on that Sabbath. Please, you are most and highly welcome.